Good early morning. Good early morning, everyone or anyone who's out there. I was just finishing my dinner, per se, because I work a second shift job. So these early mornings are pretty much like the late evenings to me for people who anybody else who might work a first shift job. If you get it like that. But yeah, I just felt inspired to come on. See if I could share a few words with the people. I was contemplating. No, first and foremost, let me get my situation together. I had the bottle turned wrong again. It is called Revanche, and I think I left my shot glass in the kitchen. But that's what we on. And the topic pretty much is I'm going to go with a thought I had earlier today, and it was like and I was thinking to but the thought I had earlier was in reference to people being placed in positions of power or positions of authority or positions of reverence. Now there in my from my deduction there may be more, but these two are the two specific ones I thought about. There are two ways that you can assume a position of notoriety or a position of power, and that one is the pretty much conventional way of hard work, or you might have a situation where you may be in the benefit of being an acquaintance of someone who may put you in a position of authority or a position of notoriety just for the mere sake of that individual who you're associated with uh, influence and notoriety. There's also a way that you could put yourself in, elevate your position, and that is by means of finance, money, assets. And the thought that I had with it, because it's really a short thought. This thought is not necessarily a whole video. That you can place yourself. You can go the conventional way, and you make relationships, and you meet people. You work hard. You learn things. You acquire skills, and eventually you get to a position of influence or notoriety or power. Part of my old this is my sleep shirt here. I know the collar look kind of raggedy. It's just Fisk University homecoming 2011. I'd attended that, and it's a souvenir T-shirt I got from there. But you can place you work hard. Like the good conservatives people, the conservative mindset. You work hard, you save your money, you discipline yourself, you mind your vices, and you might get in a position where you might have something for yourself instead of walking around pissed to pot, always looking for a good time, indulging in excess and things of that nature. But that is what that is. You can you can you can work hard to get in your position of power or position of influence or position of notoriety, or you can pay for it, or you can have access to, to say, well, I'm placing myself in this position of power because I have these resources, and these resources are necessary for the thriving and the survival of those that are around me. So therefore art, due to that wealth that I hold, and that wealth by default holds influence. Because he who holds the gold, what's the rule? He who has the gold makes the rules. But yeah, I've said before that I believe that the one of the most dangerous artists, well, pardon me, the artists who live the most hazardous situation in the genre, which is known as music. You have country music, you have jazz music, you have Afrobeat. You just have various types of music. You have various subgenres of that music, Latin jazz. You may have acid hip hop, whatever. But and as far as the ability to be able to feel as if you could probably get a nice life insurance for a reasonable deductible every month. For a particular artist, out of all those that are listed as musicians or in the music field under a specific genre, apparently, and by the evidence, it seems as if the person who would be the individual who is in the most in the individual in the subgroup, pardon me, in the subgroup that is known, in the group that is known as hip hop, and the subgroup of hip hop known as gangster rap, or reality rap, or however you want to call it, where they talk about shooting their blickies, that drill rap type stuff. Seems as if they have the most. They are in the most prone position to die in a at a young age in a pretty much horrific type of circumstance. You don't necessarily hear too often, as far as gunshots and things of that nature, and strong arm robbery circumstance. You don't hear that too much in K-pop or honky tonk. And you don't even, I guess to a lesser degree, it's somewhat of a, not even you don't really hear too much about hip R&B artists. If or whatever definition or term that you might consider that might be an R&B artist at this point in time, you don't even see them getting shot, killed, or even to the point of getting arrested and placed in greater confinement. So when I speak of today is August the 21st, 2022. Apparently, there was a rapper named Quando Rondo who was in a situation in California where I don't know whether it seemed like the pictures I saw, he was walking around. They said that some of his people were shot. That a friend of his, Lil somebody, one of the, was dead. And I guess by the name I don't know whether that was just his nickname as his buddy, but I would imagine that he probably was going to put him on the rap or whatever. But his partner died, and there's apparently, I haven't seen the video because I try to avoid seeing stuff like that. If once you see stuff like in front of you, you don't really necessarily have to see on tape or whatever. But evidently, the boy hollered out. He yelled out in anguish because his homeboy was dead, and clearly his homeboy was dead due to his association with him because that's who he was with. At least that's the story that's going to be told about it. But yeah, this I think Quando Rondo was one that was being attacked by the rapper King Von. When King Von lost his life, in a hail of gunfire. Well, not necessarily hail of gunfire, but I guess due to gunshots. But I guess, and I don't know. This guy was I think he might have. He is a rapper, Lil Tim. He shot King Von, and I guess came to the I guess I don't know whether Von was going to beat him up or you never know. Von, they say according to the headlines that Von is is a suspect in murders. So, I guess there was a consideration that Von was going to kill Quando the night that he attacked Quando, and he ultimately lost his life by gunshot wound. But, seemingly you have these cases with these young men, and You know, right now that you see on television where currently in Atlanta, the YSL and the Young Thugs, and, and they're in court uh, in association with federal charges. You say the lady in Atlanta, she had said a couple of weeks ago, two other high profile arrests are coming. Um, so you wonder, you know, in the midst of, I guess, not necessarily, you can't really put this all on the African American, the black, the Negro, or the nigger folks, where all this violent killing and shooting and things is going on, because clearly, there's been incidents where Hispanics been shooting because Hispanics shot up a school of his own kind, and then you might have the Caucasian male. He went and shot up some black folks at the grocery store, and it's just. And of course, they keep the scorecard on, how the minorities or the people of colors, I guess they mean the blacks and the browns, how they go about killing themselves or shooting themselves in the particular county in which I live is Cook County, Illinois. So, you got these situations and these circumstances that it's caused desperate times, and during a time period where funds are low and costs are high, and there's ample amount of resources to be paid to law enforcement services, or in regard to keep law and order. Because when you have a circumstance or in a situation or community um, where there's want and need, and you also add into the fact there's been sickness, the existence of the COVID. It seems as if the severity, they're lessening, the fear, the severity of it, and you're cutting down the amount of days that you have to quarantine yourself. But now we have the monkeypox, and now they say the monkeypox is disproportionately affecting the minorities, the people of colors as well. Even though it's also affecting the dominant society. Those who are classified as white. I be nigger boy. I be black. I'm a subset of the black peoples. Pardon me. I need to get me a glass. I hope y'all don't when I cut through here. I hope y'all don't see my briefs. I'm in my pajamas, baby. I'm in my pajamas. So yeah, man. You're in a situation now where you have this environment where we're they say it's not a recession. Now, when I say by they, I mean the media is currently trying to convince us that we're not in a recession. They passed legislation to the Inflation Reduction Act, which I'm still trying to figure out how making environmental changes, I guess, and by way of giving large sums of money to electric car builders, makers, somehow will lower the cost and the prices of the things in which I purchase at the grocery store. But yeah, man, this Atlanta prosecutor, she's making a name in Atlanta. Atlanta's what do they call that? What is Atlanta? Black Hollywood. Yeah, they call Atlanta a lot of things of the South. So regardless of what they calling it, Tyler Perry got a big old movie studio down there. I think somebody else has built a big old movie studio down there. You got all them Tubi movies they can make and stuff. and BET movies they can make. So they're clamping down on the crime. At least they're clamping down on that particular organization or accusations toward that organization because with federal time there's whatever time they give for they determine that the sentence that the federal Bureau of Investigation, or not the federal government, the federal Justice Department determines what the penalty for that charge in which you catch, and then maybe something as simple as transferring a little bit of your syrup and a few bottles of your perks and stuff over state lines when you don't have a prescription for neither. You know, the rap career is only about a good, if you're halfway decent, you know, 5 years, two or three albums, that's good for you. So you might have a couple of songs you could tour off of or make appearances on. That's just what it is. What it is not the same as it was, in the 80s and the 90s, where you can make a long term career off of. You can only do that if you cross market yourself and brand yourself and sell liquor or sell clothing and things like that. But the point I'm trying to get to, man, even though all other groups, I guess to a lesser degree, the Asian folks, I guess their violence is somewhat subtle. Maybe and I guess you can't really say the Indians, the Middle Eastern folks. You can't really talk down their violence. And but then again, I guess Asians in their country is violent, and Middle Easterns in their country is violent. It may spill over into this country, but of course, out of all groups, that are considered uh, criminally criminally acclimated, or what's the word I'm looking for? They have a tendency to criminality. They pretty much point that finger at the African American, black, the Negro, the nigger boy. So at this state of time, we have all this recessionary, these costs and the gas is high, and you try to take a plane somewhere to travel. You never know if you're going to meet your flight might be canceled. You never know. You kind of worry sometimes. You might need to take an emergency flight to go and get to a relative or get to a friend, and it might be the last moments of their life, or it might be just something of dire straits. But that once again, I got to stay with what I'm staying on. That the young. This is in California. That Quando Rondo fella. He wasn't from California. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know these guys like that. But I do know that when they say RICO, it means it generally means interstate, not intra, not within the state. It means over the course of one or more states. And these guys, they like to go to California. They like to travel to Florida. They definitely travel to Georgia. And Georgia's a hub that'll take you to New York. Georgia's the hub that'll take you to Miami. Georgia. So it's like, well, it was all good. It was all good during the pandemic. Niggas was eating during the pandemic and whatnot. But what I pretty much want to lead to has been discussion in regards to um and it's kind of ironic since Con Master. Let me drink some. Basically, it's been talk of a crime bill 2.0 and the necessity of crime bill 2.0. Because and it's ironic that would be discussed considering that kind Master Biden, who professed to write in the first one, that had such a negative effect toward, and it had a negative effect toward the black community. That's been proven. But right now, it's like, well, with the amount of, and I really, you really can't. There's a talk. When I say there's talk of this new crime bill. This crime bill 2.0. Last time there, and I say I vaguely remember because I think I remember that the final call, because before we had the internet, we had to go toward like all types of newspaper. We used to read Dr. York and the final call and whatever, type of black media we could get our hands on in order to try to get acclimated to what was going on. Sometimes they might have little cassettes that might come through, and then we hear the game through the cassettes, but. Uh, the first crime bill, man, and they was talking about the three strikes you're out, and niggas was like that, three strikes. And I think the group main source, uh, a friendly game of baseball. It's a hip hop group. They had, matter of fact, I think that song was on the movie Boys in the Hood. Uh, a friendly game of baseball where they're talking about the three strikes law. And to us, it was just unreal. It didn't make any sense. But then what they had was is that they had the I guess whatever version of the Congressional Black Caucus, but a group of black politicians in which I guess they played right both sides against the middle to some degree, but they also had some of them who did a successful job of selling this new crime bill to the I guess to the Democratic Party supporting African American black people or nigger folks. So even in the midst of I guess to those who might consider themselves radical in this day and time, the people who were considered radical in that day and time, and back in during those 90s, they stood on the fact that this is wrong. How you gonna put somebody, lock somebody where if they just, if even if they do mess up three times, you don't know, you do never really particularly know what degree of fuck up you're gonna do, considering there's a large scale of the level in which you could fuck up. Let's say you might have $20 worth of dope, and that'll still be your third. That'll be your third felony. So you still gonna have to do those. You still gonna have to follow line with the three strikes. So there was discussion in regards to that, but there was also an election at the time. I get there was the campaigning that was beginning for the first black president, William Slick Willie Clinton. So Bill Clinton was trying to woo the black, was still maintain control of the black vote, but he was also trying to appease the law and order Republican Party. So what they did was, I guess they got some preachers, and they got some of them CBC them Democratic politicians, black politicians, to go and convince, or at least strong arm, the African American Negro or nigger voters into uh, siding with the bill. Yeah, this is what we need. We asking for this. It's gonna offer drug treatment, isn't it? It's gonna help get the drugs off the streets. All this money they're spending on it turned out to be a giveaway to the prison industrial complex and also to the police force. There wasn't no defunding going on back then with that. That was when they first that, well, I guess to say wasn't the first time, but it was definitely a reinvigoration of funding to make sure that those who were classified as criminals or three-time felons to be placed in a situation which is known underneath the compensatory code as greater confinement. Greater confinement is when you are locked inside a cage, or not, I guess a cell is a cage. When you're locked inside a facility and all your wants and needs must be provided, and and your time and I guess pretty much your energy, because if in some cases when you're in jail, they put you on some form of work duty. So your time and your energy, um, if you don't necessarily have an access to a wealth of a library. I guess I don't know how they do now with the age of technology. I guess they make inmates might get some internet time, but you don't have the same type of access to information that a person in the so-called free world, or considering if you're considering a person who is not a white supremacist, who is not classified as a white supremacist, the free world is what they consider the free world to us is lesser confinement because we are not perpetually locked inside a building or confinement, a confined building or facility. We don't necessarily have to have all our time and our mind and whatever controlled by or dictated by a warden per se, a warden of a facility of greater confinement. But we are, in lesser confinement. We still have to go to work every day. We still have to, follow the rules of the law. You know, as law-abiding citizens, and we should be able to enjoy the rights and privileges that good American person should, good any other American does. As we are African American Black peoples, some of us who are seed of what was known people that were known as niggers. I classified myself as nigger, i.e., I am the descendant of the nigger slave in America. So if anybody should have any type of allegiance and loyalty to this country, at least the country itself, not necessarily those who govern, because the people sometimes they're evil people who govern in high places. So a new crime bill, a crime bill 2.0. It sounds like a good idea. I mean, niggas is killing niggas, man. Now people getting shot up. What about black on black crime? Y'all never want to see. You see, like it's fine when people when a Sambo is tap dancing, trying to use it as a deflective talking point for a white conservative interest. Okay, yeah, that's some huckabuck shy when you talk about black on what about black on black crime then, but amongst us, amongst an African American Black person, Negro, nigger folk like myself, to African American Black Negro or nigger folk like myself, person to person, talking one on one. Is it too much of a hazard or of a hassle or a time consumption to somehow try to figure out some way to fix our situation on the social level? This is a social level thing for the most part. Now the social dysfunction is carried out on the internet, and it's like, well, you have cats on the internet, posting saying typing threats in comment sections that if were said on the street would pretty much, are insightful things to say. So therefore, now they must have come up with some kind of way in order to police what is known as the cyber waves. Cyber waves must be policed. Whenever you come on and say something, even you don't have to write it or type it down. Now they have specially programmed software which enables them to hear whatever you're saying. And if they dislike what you're saying, then they'll mute what you're saying. They'll mute your broadcast. I guess that's a way to prevent. That's a method of crime prevention. But I guess if the situation was in regards to a circumstance where one was committing a crime, one could be acting as a media apparatus. One could be given an editorial. It doesn't necessarily mean that it may be the type of speech that you might think is distasteful may not necessarily mean that speech is intended to be harmful or dangerous to anyone else. It may just be to provoke thought. But you have circumstances where you have cats that talk about it's a price on your head, and I'm where you at? Drop your location. What this? I don't know if they type WYA, but where you at? That's just it's something else they type in them comments where they trying to see where they say drop your location. So I guess You supposed to just like say, I'm over here, come shoot me over here. And I don't know what level of y'all niggas just gang, y'all just two gangs for me, man. I mean, it's kind of like y'all think y'all playing a movie with this shit, but it's actually old folks and it's young folks out here, that's dying. Babies getting shot and shit. And I'm like I said, I live in Cook County, Illinois. I'm not going to be specific to where I am. Maybe someone who might recognize me. I go to work and I come home. Somebody might recognize me, whatever. Don't bother me. I ain't in it. I ain't never claimed no shit. I ain't. I'm just a nigga who think I'm smarter than I may or may not be. But a new crime bill, man. You know, what kind of how much input do you think that we would have as African American Black and nigga people into putting together this crime bill? What do you think? Do you think that we would be able to add our input and say, well, all right, now last time y'all got us with that that treatment, yeah, y'all said y'all was gonna offer drug treatment was an option. I didn't say that the drug treatment would also have to require them being locked in prison. But I guess now it's okay now. See, once again, the African American Black people, they're like the pioneers of punishment. So whereas we had to go and do calendar after calendar of federal year because we possessed meager portions of drugs that we could not manufacture or produce in our communities. Nowadays, those who got addicted to opioid tablets produced by some of your largest pharmaceutical outlets in this country, and got all them good old Caucasian folks addicted and sick on them pills. They had to, they couldn't just leave the pills cold turkey. They had to hop off and get on some of that girl, that tar heron, that heron. This is all factual. I'm not trying to be a nigga Alex Jones in this bitch. I'm just telling stuff that could be traced back to fact. Crime Bill 2.0, man. How would a crime bill stop a nigga from putting a switch on that thing and going, I don't know what's that. They shoot that, these niggas retarded means to be is the held back from development. That you like for you have a fire retardant where that will that will hold the fire back from progressing mentally having to do with the brain. So if I would have to make a designation of some of these young African American Black Negro or nigger boys out here that's participating in this game of gangsterism, for meager meager materialistic goods, and I guess for the adoration of whatever I don't know if even it's about the young girls no more, impressing the young girls no more. I guess it's more about impressing each other, homeboy loving ass niggas. I mean, this is just me putting it. I'm just an old nigga. I'm out the gang. You see the gray hairs on my chin. I'm sitting at the house on early Sunday morning, late Saturday night, in my old 2011 Fisk University t-shirt, homecoming t-shirt, sipping on Revanche cognac. I lost my frost, but it's still cold, baby. But I'm just saying, man. You had yeah, I mean, I can't, and I have no, like I said, nigga nation or nothing, man. I'm still fucking bugging up off the fact that Charleston White was able to get, but it wasn't Charleston White that got that nigga locked up. That nigga got himself locked up. The feds do always tap you on your shoulder. You know how many niggas I know that got tapped on the shoulder before the feds actually came and got them? I mean, I mean, I don't say no. I say I know a couple, but to know of a few more, them feds always tap you on your shoulder before they come and get you for real, for real. So this man, and he's about, I'm older than him, I'm sure, but I'm sure that this guy, from the look of his face, I don't know how y'all young niggas age nowadays, but I'm sure that nigga look at least 40. Uh, Quick Flavino, Vincenzo, is that a is that a foreign nigga? And if he a foreign, he might be, unless he mixed with American nigga folk. Maybe he might have had a nigga mama who tried to give him one of them fancy names, like one of them Italian Latin nigga names, Vincenzo. But yeah, this old nigga, he making videos on my mixtape popping. My views is out the chain. And it's a couple of days, but they come and pick his ass up, man. That's got to be motherfucking embarrassing. And then I don't know what. Hey, I would just say the fact that that we just kept on looking. And Charles said he gonna get one of them. Charles said they watching one of them, but they ain't picking down one of them up yet. And lo and behold, they picked one of them niggas up and got charges on the nigga. All in the midst of Gunna and Young Thug in court, and Rico. And then you got Quando Wando over in California, and all of a sudden he just happens to be under, I don't know where he could have, what hood or neighborhood he could have possibly went to, where him and his entourage would have to face gunfire. It had to be something. Now, it didn't have to be, but in my speculation and in my determination, I believe that it had to be a circumstance where niggas was in this state talking shit to niggas in that state, and niggas in that state was talking shit back to them niggas in that state over there. So then, once the two shall meet, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it depends on whether they decide to snitch or not. Yeah, I don't even know how that even works, because I guess there's some type of honor or code amongst the nigga mafia. See, that's a redundant. I'm about to say the nigga mafia. If there's no code, the saying goes, there's no honor amongst thieves. You know, ain't no church in this. Well, I guess you can have church in the streets, but it ain't all the time morally and ethically sound in the church, let alone in an organization of criminals, of thieves, and exploiters of their kind. You do know that at being even I as a weed seller. And once upon a time in my day, I knew I was exploiting my folks as much as okay, weed ain't nothing but that, but hell, but niggas spending their last the $10 that they was supposed to go and buy their baby some diapers with to get a fucking dime bag of weed. That's exploiting your motherfucking community, nigga, all day. Crime Bill 2.0, man. Weed should be legal in about every damn state, but then they trying to take your fucking gasoline cars away and make electric cars. Hell, they might as well put a pack of weed cigarettes in all the motherfucking convenience stores in every state. That would make sense to me. I'm usually smoking, but since I can't really moderate my puffs, I guess I can moderate. I'm like I say, I'm doing this. This is the like, share, and subscribe to a nigga show. So please like, share, and subscribe if I've managed to hold your attention this long. What would y'all? I mean, we're in a state right now of lesser confinement, and when I say lesser confinement, you know, you don't have a set child time. You don't have to. You're not ordered to take showers or utilize restroom or toilet facilities with other strangers that you aren't acquainted with or that you would welcome to into your personal space in the lesser confined world. You don't have the same treatment in a greater confinement, but you are in a form of confinement. African American black nigga folk. Y'all how this happen? You know, a motherfucking police officer killed, whatever. Such and such person say something like this racist. You know, the motherfucking Muppets on Sesame Street. Fucking give your kid the motherfucking strong arm. Them crackers on. I'm bogus. Let me get off of that. People don't really care about that. Are starting to care less and less about that shit. Man. Oh, they get mad for nothing. That's not putting no money in nobody's pocket. I guess the person who might have got, so they might get a civil suit or settlement or something like that. But in regards to the constructive advancement of our people or getting our situation and circumstance together, because in all actuality, we shouldn't even need a crime bill 2.0. We should be able to have the communal wherewithal to come together and figure this shit out for ourselves. I mean, in an ideal world, we would, you know. And you kind of think, but I mean, even though there were problems, we can't never say never in this has this society ever been perfect. But I mean, in regards to a social standard, aside from some particular dysfunctions, I would say that the social condition of the colored Negro folks prior to the 19th century and the early part of the 20th century was most ideal. We weren't necessarily we weren't going off killing mass numbers of each other every week. I'm sure we would throw hands. Fighting is fighting, but at least in a fight you get to live. And that's something. And once again, like we going back to boys. No, we just circle back around the boys in the hood, right? Fight 1-on-1, but you live. That's Friday. 1-on-1, but you live. Use these, but you live. Yeah, man. To like, share, and subscribe to a nigga show, man. Like, share, and subscribe to Nigga Room, man. And we in lesser confinement, man. I have, and like I always do, I guess everybody doesn't always know, but I kind of believe it is my deepest opinion for some time now that I have been shadow banned and my platforms are being hindered and tied to the point where I can't progress efficiently. And sometimes I have to admit that I do conflict with myself. Maybe it's my charisma, maybe it's my content, maybe it's my delivery. But then, there are other things that give me evidence to believe otherwise. But Crime Bill 2.0, man, here we are, lesser confinement. Now, we have folks that say we need the anti-black hate bill, anti-black crime bill, or something like that. I love my people to death, man. I swear I do. Y'all want to go to the government. Y'all get y'all some politicians to go to the government to create an anti-black hate crime bill when the root of the hate that comes, some of the root of the hate that comes towards you is from the precise place in which you're going to act to make a bill and pass a law that will be utilized in the defense against you for anti-black hate. Man, you ain't got no friends, man. The African American black nigga folk has no friends. You can be their friend though when they need you. That's fair for them. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not, I'm not here to incite anything. I don't have any type of. I'm not a member of the not fucking around clique or nothing like that. I'm just an old nigga, man, who sit around and think. Sometimes, it's hard to be social in an antisocial world. I don't mean nobody no harm. I just want to be left. I just want to be able to pick my road, earn my earnings, come home to my shack and be left the fuck alone. But with something like a new crime bill, you know, crime bill 2.0, would that be able to provide me that type of security, or would that place me in danger as well, just for the mere fact that, if there's a crime bill 2.0, then it might be the position that African American, black, Negro, nigga status is just criminal in itself, due to the fact that the media will always portray that particular subgroup as the most prone to violence and criminality. I don't know, man. I was talking shit. I said I just was inspired to come on. I'm not dressed for the occasion, just have a few words that I like to put out in the spirit. It's all practice, baby. You know, just move around while I put it down. No, just ain't do what the saying. The saying goes, just get out the way and let me put my game down. Just move around while I put it down. It's it. It sound like if I sound like a Mexican, I said this shit. Just move it down while I put it down. I don't know, man. This is the like, share, and subscribe to a nigga show, though. You know, telephone, tell a friend. Go and give a nigga I'll even take I take a pity subscribe. I'm just trying to get to a right. I'm working to expedite my reaching 1,000 subscribers. My first 1,000 subscribers. I already have attained. I've attained about. I guess I've attained a third of my goal of reaching subscribers. I've achieved 25% of my watch hours that I need. That's why I said, let me come on and talk a little bit. Maybe I get somebody listening. Throw me about 5, 6 hours. Slow grind, slow grind. What a nigga know about that slow grind? Sometimes it doesn't come fast. It take time. What a nigga know about that slow grind? Yeah. But man, yeah, man. Rico. The feds is working. The federal government is working. The federal government is working on the computer inside your computers. Homeland Security is working inside them computers, buddy. They watching your TikTok, they watching your Instagram, they watching your Facebook, they watching your Twitter, they watching YouTube. You know, try it if you want to, nigga. Think it's a game. Yeah, they'll dig up McGruff the crime dogs. Oh, that's come biting on your hind end, son. I don't know, man, but I know one thing. I know we used to be during when that crime bill first passed, and they start giving all that money to them police, and they start hiring all them police, and they police just had to have something to do. Niggas was kind of scared to ride around. You have your seatbelt on and be sitting all straight up. Wow, shit, man. But crime bill 2.0, people, what y'all gonna do about it? Y'all gonna go to your count to your local congressman and talk to them and say, well, we demand this to be within the bill, in order for it to be something that would be suitable for us to agree with. In the previous, history is not that far back. So you think back to the 90s when they had the original crime bill, and this is perceivably a revamping of that said bill. We have to consider the pitfalls of that bill, as well as I guess some of the perceived accomplishments within it, if there were any. They built a lot of prisons. I guess. And I guess they found a good reason to throw a whole bunch of y'all niggas in prison. Thank God I didn't make it though. But they did make it. It was a time where that shit was a team was marketed as enticing. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you the cold game about it. The tough guys went to prison. But then it's also say that it also separated from you the fact that if you was weak and your ass went to prison, you might. Crime Bill 2.0, man. Shit, they might not even need no prison. They may just plug into a little, like they have in the science fiction movies, how they had them little tubes and shit, and put that thing on your head, and just have you in a Matrix type of circumstance. I'm just talking shit though, but yeah, man. Welcome to the like, share, and subscribe to a real nigga show. Niger to a Niger show. If you do so inclined, indulge me. I do thank you very much for your time. And y'all have a great morning, afternoon per se. This is very pleasant, I must say. It felt good. I have to do it again soon.